Good evening, folks. It's 9:01 p.m. Oh, excuse me, 19:01. 7 o'clock at night. Here in the 7th day for 3rd month, 2023, and I should change my glasses. I'm not reading that too well. So, right, I'm going to slide the screen a little closer to me, and I'm going to get right to it. You have a very dangerous day proceeding to go on here for the outback areas here of Australia here. Mount Isa in particular, you got a line beginning to form here, and you got some flow coming down coast that's going to actually spin this one a little independently of this. And the radar corridor here set up is walking everything down this way, right? It can't go here. Can't, a little can tickle here for a flow, but all the setup here is to bring all this here in toward Brisbane in this corridor. And this is not a full on beam, so things can proceed through here fairly well, but it will cause a divide, so these can spin separately. That glitch right here from this radar station is visible in clouds here from Emerald. This glitch here is well visible in clouds. Have long reach beaming in all these directions here, right? If you took a straight edge, right, and you follow these lines, they'll go right to the radar station. These are beam paths and swaths, and they're very obvious to see. So you just put a straight edge up, and you'll find a point right at the next red. So one of them is a slam-on beam. You see this right here? I mean, it's slam on to the radar station, influencing the weather and the dynamics of the atmosphere to cause flows in certain direction. Things won't go past this heated outflow here. The corridor of least resistance is through here, and it'll be trickled through here. They mostly want the flow coming in this direction, and you're not on the sites for really most of the heavy stuff today. Cairns, you're beginning to start to see some of the tropical flow influencing you. If I look at the chem, you'll see the downflow here that's influencing suddenly blowing up. Great big old blast. It didn't start as a big round supercell. It's actually a bunch of chem deployments. So I go back a few here. 4 hours of data here. You'll see this is chem bombed. You can see the energy on the edge here from the percussion rings interacting with this flow that's going down that helps to spin this storm. See the down? As this is trying to get across, it's nothing else for it to do but to spin in the direction that the top is being spun. So if it's pushing that way down on that corner, this thing's going to start to rotate. That's going to make this extremely dangerous storm. Expect tornadic activity from this storm in its path. Expect hail, damaging winds, treacherous road conditions. As the downpours of these tendrils that have been brought in here from the tropics begin to inundate parts of Australia that I was forecasting for many days. So I'm going to do this as quick as possible, but I want to do it thoroughly. Okay? See this big chem deployment here with all this crap in the sight? This is just seasonings to fill in this storm, to make the cloud go how they want and go backwards and forwards. A lot of flow underneath is really going to make this very electric. A lot of interactions from chem coming from this side here to Birdsville. See this tendril going in? That's all chem bombs. It's not a morning glory cloud that can naturally occur sometimes. That's the chem bombs. Yeah, so don't believe that one if it's said. Yeah, some morning glory cloud very regularly occurs in some places in the world. Anybody that denies that is just hasn't really taken the time to look for the natural first. And I do. Got to look for the natural first, and I see here's naturally a fireworks show. Chem bombs, they came and took away your dry land. And then the flood came and you were offered a purchase by the man. You do. How quick do they offer to buy your home up after these events? I'm very curious. Only you can provide me with that information. Ellie Curran, did you get a big chem bomb deployment? Hey, well, that's meeting right there. That's going to fuel it up. The battering of these two together when these meet is going to fuel a line of storms. And it's predicted to be quite nasty. Quite nasty. As the day proceeds today. As these totals are going to be extremely heavy. That's that line that the chem bombs made. Chem, bomb. Bomb. They love you, so they do it. They do it because we let them. That's plain and simple. You got organizations that are designed and paid to make weather, and those things are out there, and I'll go into that at some point. Not today. Those corporations need to be shut down. That's a business that shouldn't decide you should have a cloud when somebody else is having a wedding because they got money to do that. You don't do that. What price to a flower that's only open for a little while and needs sun, or an insect that only lasts 2 days and you took away its life? And as I'm looking at these totals here along these creek beds, this is nothing but, in case you other people have got to have it in inches, yeah, give you an idea, right? 100's near 4. Okay, so we'll start metricing some people in this world, so I don't have to keep doing that. And if that stayed in that spot for that long, that's how much you get. If it was 3 hours long, absolutely horrendous. It's all right on these creeks, and this stuff is now swelling the streams that are gonna fill up. I'll zoom it back. You can see the extent of how they're hitting that exact corridor with the EMF. There's the split because of that beam that was going on that I showed you on that other one here. You know, that is very predictable, what the beams do and how they split flows, and I use those to determine accurate weather forecasts, and I have to throw the word accurate in because I'm extremely accurate. You don't need a credential to be accurate. Just be sciencey in your mind, and don't have to settle for a piece of paper to tell you if you're right or wrong. I know I'm right. You ain't going to argue the science I'm telling you. You just try to question my character. There's some groups have been set up to just try. Has Robert Deutsch ever done you wrong? Well, it's been about 3 years. I think after more than about a year, it was called stalking. Oh, look at these chem bombs just blowing this storm up. This is going to be bad. And they're going to have to use an EMF to shove this along. They'll have to use beams over this direction. They should be starting fairly soon, actually. So I haven't looked at that yet. So if we're lucky, she's going to loading. I just want to see the Oz beams, really. Well, she zoomed up. Down. I must have been doing something a little different. I'm going to go with Australia first. I just want to see the EMF over the tropics. So I can do it here. It'll show me what I need to know. See the steady on there? They're going to have to sweep that beam over. So I'm going to go to the Australia one. So watch for the flashing lights. It's going to flash a little bit. Flash. Oh. Better eat your vegetables. It'll give you 72 hours. It'll give us a few clickies. And let's see what's going to shove this along. Because it has to. The beams have to come on. And there's not enough data of the localized NEXRAD weather radars out west over here to do a determining if NEXRAD's involved. I'm just looking for the bigs. All right. Let's see what we got here. Bit of a tickle from Alice there. I'm looking more toward our time. They're not yet. Right about now's when you got to hit it. Yeah, there's a scanning beam. See it moving towards that direction? They're just starting to shove it and clear that area out. See that straight line? It looks like the spot where they put the scalar square. Yeah, I'm watching. Boy, that's a hell of a tendril they got on top of you over here. Wow, look at those. Every one of them's a thick tendril, and they're bringing it in. If they turn that at all, that'll go sideways in, and wow, that's a lot of water. We'll be watching for you along this coast here. And this is headed your way. They're going to split it into 2 sheds. So, I can determine they're just now starting to push it. But they want to hold it. Looks like they're holding it because of that line right there. It can't proceed. It's being squeezed down and around. Okay. And here's your timestamp in case anybody was being particular. There you go. It's that was an hour and 10 minutes ago that data came in. Okay, and I'm going to go back to where I was. So, the evidence of the sweeping of that beam will be this crap out here, that square. I'm trying to determine if there's a NEXRAD here, because he's giving off a glitch. Yeah, we'll be looking for the big beam. See that area there where nothing really wants to form? That's the heated outflow boundary. And the chem there is just filling it, bringing the electrics over like a wire. It's called ducting, D-U-C-T-I-N-G. It's a bunch of electrics being Cold all the way through to Lisbon. Look at the toxicity of the air over the coast of Australia today. Oh my. There's a crime. That's something that's against chemical warfare laws and all sorts. That's chemicals in your sky without your permission. What a fucking shame. Geoengineering sucks. Chem bombs suck. Look at this crap. Oh my. Toxic air alert. For this entire area encircling. That's fallout's coming your way, and God only knows what it's doing to my ocean. My ocean. Oh my, look at Cairns. Let's just go to the Great Barrier Reef with you. The reef. Yeah, here with the reef. You'll get Quipke from doing the weather for you today. From Big Bang Theory. Yeah, he was a good character. That's hard to keep doing. Hey, you got any chem bombs here? Have a few chem bombs. That's all those shit stripes that came over the top of you. That's all been done with chem. All this fucking shit being directed in. All these tendrils that you could barely see. They're there. And this is going to catch them all and bring them in. So there's 1 band, 2 band, 3 bands. These are your squalls. That'll be your squalls. Ah, you bastards. I see what you did. Whammo, look. 2 different directions of the wind here. The captain is cooking you again. Captain Chemtrail, he's on the line. Captain Chemtrails, he's leaving lines in your skies. Captain Chembomb and Chemtrail eating lunch with your pocket. They're paying for their brunches. My God, look what they fucking did. Look what they did to the reef, man. This is fucked up. Absolutely bombed the hell out of you guys. All the way through to Mackay, down on the low deck, high deck. That's a low blow. Look what they done to my Bundaberg. Oh my. Well, won't be having none of that drink for a while. Harvey Bay, have a few bombs over the whales out here. The whales! You want to save the whales? Stop putting sulfuric acid precursors in the sky. Stop it. Big old shit stain in your sky. Mars bar with all the everything dripped off your days. Just look at the shape of that. This is ungodly. Chem bomb. Chem bomb. No light for the ocean. No light for the fauna. No freedom for you to choose clean air even. The daily water's still disgusted. Timber Creek bombed to hell. These poor fucking folks need to dry out. As they're directing more moisture from the tropics down over into Queensland and proceeding over here to fuck all y'all with some ungodly totals over the next 10 days. I just can't stand it sometimes. To even have to come on here. Here's your 24-hour totals for this area. Right? This whole chem bombed attacked area, a victim of a absolute weather warfare. Getting 4 inches right up the old wazoo. But it's got a lot of girth. Right? It'll rip you. That one's a ripper. That's 12-hour totals. Have some more. There's your 10s. There's your 24 hours. Have some more. 6 inches. It's growing inside you. Do you want to see it all? You want to see it? Look at this shit. It's 12 inches. Right up the old wazoo. Let's see if I'm at. Is it a little more than that, actually, isn't it? 17 inches of fucking rain. I told you guys 2 feet of rain was common. 2 feet of rain is common. I ain't lying. You already had some of that. And you had some terrible totals in the last 24 hours up there. And along this entire stretch of Justice Highway, they hit the road. And it's time for this geoengineering program to hit the road before we all get washed out to sea. And there ain't one damn animal left to see at all to put in the museum with the trees in it that people can pay to see them. Absolutely terrible. Look at the totals coming for French Polynesia and these islands out here. This is a direct hit. A direct hit. 6 inches. Fucking hell, this gets hard. And it's too late to give them a warning. The ocean around them, even for a boat, is getting as dangerous as to be on land. Tendrils like this just being directed around. Directed around. My gosh. They ain't being honest with you, Fiji. Your totals are higher than that. Yeah, that's about right. That was not a honest total. We ain't tweeting none of this shit. You don't tweet disasters. Whammos. Your weather brought to you by Whammo. Yeah, that total wasn't correct on the 10s. It's about right, because you're moving some big water around you, and as you fuck up with your radars, you're going to wet yourself. This is just so hard to do every day. It just is. Man, I'm not feeling like singing about this as I'm watching the flooding out of another part of Australia, and I've been for a year now, twice a day, and you guys this stuff. I hope the signal worked good, because it's just about dinner time. So with that said and with that done, I'd rather just click off with decency of a good signal. Right, your weather got owned, man. Absolutely owned. You got some terrible totals coming your way on the 10s. Don't go disaster touristing and become a victim of them roads that are being targeted for flooding. This is Australia, a land that I've grown to love. And I'm watching it being treated with quite the opposite of love by people that say they know what's best for you. I don't think I'm never, ever something's best for me if I'm never asked. Big love. Peace.